morning, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Kyle's Daily Bad Words of Wisdom. I've got some awesomeness lined out here. I got some WTF, as usual, and in preparation for winter, as we hear, as this lovely October rainstorm rolls through, we think about winter coming up, and our friends and family that might be actually living outdoors. So, here today, I have 10 tips to surviving living on the streets. Just to give everyone a taste. And hopefully this will reach some people that maybe are experiencing this and are kind of just having a hard time and don't really, Here we go. Living on the streets is not an easy thing. It can be as arduous as a full-time job. Therefore, is it essential that you only carry the most important things with you. Unlike a camping trip, you have to live light. You cannot carry a backpack with all your worldly goods. It simply isn't practical. So here's what you need to know to live life on the streets. Number 10, sleeping bag. A sleeping bag, preferably one made with down, because of its lightweight and very comfortable, it is the most vital piece of equipment you need. You can either stash the bag or carry it with you. Carrying it with you makes you more mobile because you can sleep anywhere, yet you end up with, if you cannot get a good quality bag down, down sleeping bag, double bagging two poor quality ones will do the same job. So some people don't think about that. You really need more than just one sleeping bag. Okay, matting, and you see there, that is the mat from a restaurant. So, whatever you need to do. Matting is also important. Preferably plastic, because it is lightweight, and you must keep your sleeping bag off the ground from the damp. If you cannot find or buy matting, at least make sure you put your sleeping bag on cardboard. Putting it directly on the concrete will result in the feeling of that you are sleeping on a block of ice, and the cold can cause your back muscles to freeze up and numb, and in result, when you stretch in the night, you could tear them, and that will potentially leading to months of difficulty for you walking. And walking is what you're going to be doing a lot of to get through the next days. Backpack. Number 8. A backpack. Consider keeping a smaller backpack for use during the day and a large one that you can stash. You should keep in mind that some states in the U.S. have camping bans, which it makes it illegal to walk around in the city with a large backpack. So, one homeless man was refused service at Denny's because he do not serve people with backpacks. Clearly discriminated against the homeless. But you need to be aware of this. A small backpack will spare you all these problems. Number 7, toiletry. You will need soap, a toothbrush, razors at the very least. These should keep in your day backpack, carry with you all the time. It will also try to score a mirror of some kind. Just because you are living on the streets doesn't mean you need to not keep up with your appearance. You will certainly find life is easier when dealing with non-homeless people. Number 6, useful items. Some extra small items will be very handy to have when you live on the streets. For example, you will want needles and thread. So, for fixing minor small buttons. This could save you a lot of trouble so not having to come up with new clothes, especially in the winter. You will also probably want a couple of pens and paper, pens or pencils. You never know when you might need these. It goes without saying, an essential item is a can opener as well, because without one, you are limited to the type of food that you can eat. And obviously, canned food is cheaper. So, you'll also want a pair of scissors, which you can use for grooming yourself, nail clipping, and any other useful task that requires a sharp objects. A bottle opener and or a corkscrew is also useful. And finally, a box of matches or a lighter is essential. Number 5, clothes. Most homeless people prefer to layer their clothes. This means you wear all your various layers of clothes during the night. But as the day progresses, you can slowly remove layers successfully. This allows you to keep cool when you need and warm when it gets colder. A good pair of leg warmers is recommended for wearing under your pants. In addition, you will need a good scarf and a hooded sweatshirt. Number 4, headwear. In the summer, you will need a baseball cap to protect your head from the sun. This is essential to prevent you from suffering sunstroke and very potentially getting skin cancer from overexposure. You can also help to conceal a head of bad hair, which is in bad need of a haircut, which is going to off-put other people, which you will need to deal with. In the winter, you will also be very off-putting to people. I just get back up on it. In winter, you will need a good warm knit hat. A lot of body heat escapes through your head. Therefore, one of the most important things is to keep in the winter. Keep your head warm. Shoes. You obviously must have a good quality pair of shoes, especially in the winter. If you have a hole in your shoe and your socks are wet, you will have a miserable few days with wet feet. This can, of course, lead to health problems that you want to avoid. If you do not have quality shoes, forget buying beer or cigarettes or anything else. Use all the money you can muster to get a good pair of shoes without holes. Make sure you wear socks. Shoes rubbing against your skin can cause lesions. You're supposed to wear socks. Feet are not made for that. One homeless man in a local soup kitchen had been wearing a pair of dress shoes, and it was fitting without socks for months. His ankles were covered with lesions and sores, and had been scraping against his shoes every time he took a step. And it was too late for anything to do about it. Plastic bags. Number 2. Plastic bags are essential for life on the street. They will be a raincoat in the rain and protect from the sun in the summer. You can use them to protect your matting from the wet ground. A tip for getting free bags is from janitors. In large buildings, often keep spare bags under the garbage, so they can quickly replace the bag, replacing them with an empty. If you make sure to just take 1 or 2 per garbage, not the whole lot, it will make sure they will not notice, and they will keep a constant supply on hand. So obviously be careful about that one. You will probably also want to keep a few smaller bags on hand, just in case you want to grab anything along the way, such as, beer bottle cans, collecting, you never know. A bag save your life. You see something cool, and it's like, there it goes. Miscellaneous items. Number 1. It is very important that you travel light. You want to keep your belongings to a minimum, and items about cover vertically everything you will want. Said that, you should consider carrying a few other small items that are invaluable. For example, priority mail envelopes, free at the post office, will be great for storing things, and they are durable and waterproof. You can also keep a keep a bottle or two to store them with coffee. Forget things like flashlights. They are heavy and batteries run out. They will also show other people exactly where you are, and you probably don't want that, to remain anonymous and blend in with the streets. So there you go. There's 10 tips to surviving and trying to get yourself in a better way. Because the further you fall in, the further you'll be stuck in. The end goal is eventually getting off the streets, people. And here we go. WTF. Back to some facts here. Some restaurants in China lace their food with opiates to keep their customers coming back. Yeah. They just do that. Alright, here is a really cool. I believe this is an owl. A potos uses their body posture to camouflage themselves to keep the look as a tree stump. Like they are just... No, they look like a tree stump. And they just freeze. Freeze frame. Look at that guy. He's kind of funny looking. His wings even look like bark. Very odd. Good camouflage artists. Alright. Here's a head tripper right here, people. Whenever you move your eyes quickly from one point to another point, there is a disconnect between your eyes and your brain. So, your perception of time stretches backwards slightly. This is why, when you look at a clock, it appears to take longer than a second to move. Because when you look at it, your brain is still over here, and it has brought you to there. And the image is catching up. And finally, this right here. Hobo steak, right here. When watermelons are grilled or baked, they lose their granule texture and take on a meat feeling and could be used as a meat substitute, as they call a watermelon steak. That'll be worth trying. That'll be kind of strange. I wonder what it tastes like. It loses its sweetness. Anyway, there it is. Enjoy your Saturday, people. Get something done. Peace.